Hi, this is Brad. One of the biggest questions people are asking is, how did all this happen? Because clearly I'm not one of the most fit humans on the planet to qualify for the Ironman World Championships, so I'm getting in a very special way, and this is the application that I wrote. You know the expression, ask the coach what time it is and they will tell you how to build a clock. This may be a similar experience, so hunker down with a cup of coffee. I have a story to tell. In 2008, after finishing out an epic season of coaching and my most successful season of racing that fall, volunteering at Ironman Arizona, I decided to do one of these crazy Ironman events the following year. Some months later, fate intervened. My health took a turn, and over 9 months, it spiraled. By fall of 2009, I was told in no uncertain terms that my life as I knew it was forever changed, and that getting through the days was going to be all the challenge I would need. That I may never be able to take care of myself, and that I would never race again. The prospect of being 41 at the time and me never being able to do anything active was crushing. A year earlier, I was the picture of fitness, and now I was trading this all for stays at the Mayo Clinic. It was not a death sentence, but it was a emotional death sentence for sure. I was spiritually broken. I set about getting through my days 15 minutes at a time, a day at a time, and getting out of bed and getting myself in the shower was a great day. I'm a stubborn fool, and so I started where I could see what I could do beyond that. I worked up to making it up and down stairs, out the door, then to the corner and back, but it was all a monster effort. I was happy to be somewhat proving doctors wrong, but I was also so weak that I couldn't see much beyond this effort level. In reaching out to honored teammates for support, they all encouraged me to embrace this new normal, but I just simply couldn't accept it. Days to weeks, weeks to months, I finally worked up to walk around the block, and then a former TNT coach reached out and asked me to come to practice. I was both thrilled and scared. I hadn't seen many people, and I had dropped to a rail-thin 135 pounds. But if there was one place on the planet that I would feel okay about my situation, it was with the team. So I went, and it was great to be back in the team environment. And while I couldn't do anything, it gave me a spark that I hadn't felt in a long time. It was hands down the highlight of my week. It gave me a sense of purpose and drive. I thought maybe I could be of some use to the team. The practices were taxing, and I would have to come back and stay in bed for a few days to rest. But it just felt great to be able to contribute, to be a part of the team. Being around the team has always inspired me deeply, and I've always loved what we do for people by giving them hope for a better tomorrow. But now I was the recipient of that hope machine, and it inspired me to try longer walks, and then eventually get up to walking several miles. Later that fall, in 2010, I nervously took back the helm of head coach, and this letter to the team in May of 2011, after Wildflower Weekend, will say all that needs to be said why I love representing this organization. This is the email to the team, titled Brad Unplugged. This is not a message from one of your coaches, but just a note from a thankful member of your team. You are an incredible group of people, capable of anything that you set your minds to. Why this weekend was so meaningful to me, besides the fact that I had the privilege of watching you guys race this weekend, carried immense significance for me. Consider this the tell me something that your teammates don't know about you, and an explanation why my hiatus from triathlon was not my choosing. 20 months ago, if someone said that I would be alive today and that I would be up and walking around and racing at Wildflower with you, some of the awesomest peeps I know, I would have thought they were crazy. After the 2008 season, I started to get sick, and it spiraled over the course of the next 10 months, getting worse, month after month, into a state of pain, misery, and suffering that I cannot begin to appropriately describe. My life went from carbon fiber, Gatorade, power bars, and riding my bike out to Las Posas, to brain MRIs, spinal taps, having 24-hour care, and riding in a wheelchair. The best anyone could say that my central nervous system was going haywire, and all the instructions that the brain sends the body wasn't functioning, or wasn't functioning properly. Someday I will bore you with all the crazy things my body was doing or wasn't doing, but it was pure hell. At the worst, I wasn't sure what I feared more, that the doctor would say that I was going to die soon or that I had to live like that for a really long time. I was alive but not living, simply existing. Like I said, a state of pain and suffering I wouldn't wish even on a USC fan. While I'm considerably better this season than last, I still struggle at times. So know that you guys, just by showing up at practice and doing what you do, make my life, my situation so much more tolerable. Earlier this year, I went through a treatment that has helped quite a bit. And so much that the weekend of our Mandeville practice, I signed up for Wildflower Olympic. I was part thrilled and part terrified. Initially, I was afraid of failing and what that would mean, as I've had a multitude of setbacks in these past few years. I was also a bit fearful of failing in your presence, but I think that we've created the best possible environment for each of us to try and possibly fail, myself included. Wildflower is a special place for me, and while I knew it unlikely, I thought that someday I might be able to return. Wildflower was generally my barometer to see how fit I was, and so to not be able to go in 2009 was tough, a sign of what I could not do. Race weekend 2010 was hard, and I was in rough shape, and it was supposed to be hot, and it was strongly suggested that I not go. Another thing I had issues with my body, couldn't cool or heat itself very well. But as any idiot would do, of course I went. It was a tough, hot day, and I was excited to be there, support the team. The day went on. Ceci came through mile 7 on the run, and she was in need of some support. I walked with her a bit, then we ran. She was struggling, and unbeknownst to her, I was struggling as well. As we walked and ran down the pit, into the pit, I was on one hand thrilled to be on the course, but afraid that poor Ceci would have to drag me out of the pit. She felt I was there for her to push her, but in reality, she was pushing me too. And we ran and we walked the next 6 miles, taking Ceci to the finish line, and me to a new range of what my physical capabilities were. The fact that in 2008 I was told to prepare, that my life as I knew it was over, and realistically, I wouldn't be capable of much activity, let alone be able to return to coaching, let alone return to racing, tells me that all things are possible. The reason I tell all of you this is twofold. First, to be able to thank you for you all supporting me on Sunday. It was a great, great moment for me. And I could not think of anyone else that I would want to share that with. And second is a belated thank you note to the 2010 team and now staff, unknowingly helping me getting through that last year. Perhaps this now explains why you didn't see me on a consistent basis, and while the slight activity kicked my butt a lot of the times, it was the motivation I needed to suck it up and come to practice to work with you fine people. Now, kittens, you know I love you all, but story time is over and we have to get back to work. July and August are calling. And that is the end of the email. I continue. As I always tell the team, we save lives, but not always in the most obvious ways, and that hope is sometimes the best gift we can give our community. So in a wildly long and roundabout way, I want to represent LLS because the team saved my life by giving me hope, and I would like to do the same for others, both with the fundraising and with my story. I was told that I would likely be bedbound or highly immobile for the rest of my life, and now, 10 years after I set the goal of doing an Ironman, I could possibly do this on the biggest stage possible. If I could do this, then anything would be possible. And I would be the tangible proof, that machine of hope, to dare to try the impossible. My second part of why I want to do this is to honor what we do with the team as coaches. My entire team and training career, I've implored people to focus on desire, not on ability. The job of the TNT athlete is to dream big and tell us what they want to do, and it's our job as coaches to tell them how to get there. So yes, I want to dream big and focus on desire. I desire to do Ironman Hawaii so I can practice what we encourage our athletes to do every day, Focus on desire, not on ability.